Okay. All right, good morning. It's Tuesday, April 28th, and it's about 9:07, and this is a legal committee meeting of the Motor Vehicle Commission. I'm I'm Commissioner Carl Kramer, Chairman of the Legal Committee. I would note for the record the following members of the Legal Committee are present. We've got Chairman Roberts, Commissioner Levy, Commissioner Norton, Commissioner Nelson, Andrews, and myself. Additionally, we are joined by our Executive Director, Denise Lawrence, Jason Gilliam, Assistant Director, and our legal staff, Erica Cable and Taylor Hilton. Our disciplinary counsel, and Sierra Shepard, who serves as our program attorney. Now I want to open it up for any comments on our legal report.
Taylor, would you like to start us with number 4?
Sure, yeah. So we had discussed this one in our legal review meeting for the legal report. And Jason and Denise, number 4. Okay. And Jason and Denise and I had wanted the commission to kind of touch on what their opinion is for this $199 PIPA fee that is being charged on each of these bill of sales that the respondent explained are meant to protect the consumer's personal information. And we had not come across that personally, and so we wanted the commission's opinion on if that's a typical fee.
What is our rule or standard for all these made up acronyms?
Yeah, so Tennessee Code annotated 5517-114B1E prohibits dealers from charging fees that the commission feels are false or misleading. And so since we had never seen that PIPA fee, that's why we wanted discussion on if the commission felt charging $199 as a fee to protect the consumer's personal information is something that you would determine to be false or misleading.
Well, generally speaking, I mean, we've had doc fees, and even this FTC rule that just recently came out made the point that it has to be included on the price disclosure as a line item. But in terms of breaking it out into subcategories, like breaking out, because I mean, we're legally required, I believe, to protect the consumer's privacy, right? So they're passing on the compliance charge. I mean, I think if they wanted to do that, it would just go right into the same bucket as all the other, administrative fees that, at times we try to recover. So I don't know why it'd be a separate line item.
We had never come across a complainant or a respondent providing us a bill of sale that had this PIPA fee. And this is a relatively new dealership in Tennessee, but they did note in their response that they operate in 11 other states and that they charge this fee in every other state. And so that this was just them continuing to use that bill of sale in their in their sales here.
Well, I agree with Commissioner Andrews about the fact that this is charging for something you should get for free.
Well, the Graham-Bradley Leach Act 1999 requires by law to protect the customer's personal information. And I think it would be probably not in the best interest of anyone to charge somebody for that. So I would agree with you.
Now we need to discuss what we want to do.
What
would be the appropriate action for this? I mean, I think it needs to be a decent fine.
Yeah.
I mean, what do y'all think it should be?
Well, I mean, it's the first time it's come in front of us, to my knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I would think that whatever fees or whatever costs you need to recover could just go into your processing fee at some level. And I don't know if there's anything that prevents us from breaking out as bullet items beneath the processing item. I mean, if they want to disclose what all is in there, but I don't think it should be like, the $500 processing fee, $200 PIPA fee. It might be $700 fee total that includes $200.
What I meant was, what's the fine that we want to levy?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's a fine or an instruction, just depending if we haven't ever clarified this before.
Yeah,
But
that's up to your discretion if you wanted to move forward with like a letter of warning or a civil penalty. Right now, our civil penalty that we typically do for advertising violations is $500.
Did the Did they pull this off their website? Have they removed it from their website?
Not from the last time we reviewed it, no.
Do you know how long it's been going on?
They were first licensed here in December 2nd, 2025. I'm sorry, no, first license October 30th, 2025.
I think it would warrant a $1,000 fine and a letter.
So within the consent order, if we do a $1,000 civil penalty, I'll include the warning and what the commission voted on within
Yeah.
that consent order.
Do y'all concur on that?
I concur.
Yeah, go with that.
What about a reimbursement for the folks who've paid the fee?
You can encourage that, but the commission can't
I
require
think we
them
can't
to
enforce that, yeah.
give a refund.
Okay.
Only the lawyer.
We could do, I think there's another one similar to this. The recommendation that I'm about to suggest is that perhaps we put in the consent order that they refund their customers, or within a certain amount of time, or they have to pay the $1,000 fine.
I like that one better.
Well,
I like that. Does that create an accountability issue in terms of how do we know?
They would
who's-
have to provide information for each sale. So I'm not sure how many, they haven't been open for a full year, so we don't have how many sales they've had. So I'm not sure how many customers they've had. We try to figure that out, but we don't have that information. So I'm not sure how many customers they have that they would need to be refunding, that they would need to be providing us proof for. But that is something that we could ask. I'm not sure that they would
guessing
move
sold
forward
more
with
than
it.
5 cars, so they're just gonna pay. the
Well,
fine.
I'm guessing, but I just don't know how we know. If they come back and say, yeah, we reimburse both of them.
They'd have to provide evidence of how many sales they've had, plus the information that they refund to each customer.
I lean on always making the consumer whole over us collecting a fee.
Mhm.
Yeah, agreed.
So make it either or.
Yeah, I can include that in the consent order if that's what you want to vote on, and then discuss with them what they want to do moving forward. And if they provide any other information, can always come back and bring it to you.
Since they've been licensed in 2025 till now, surely they've sold more than 5 cars.
Yes, I would imagine, but we weren't able to determine how many cars they've had.
Yeah,
since
Well, they
they've
can
been a
self-report
license.
that, and then if we wanted to, tie it to the annual
Yes, we
report.
could, yeah. And then if you want to determine how long you want to give them to provide proof of the refunds, that would need to be included in your recommendation.
I think 30 days would be plenty.
30 days. So just to clarify, I have it down right, $1,000 or refund each customer charge this PIPA fee and provide proof within 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah, I agree. And Denise, does that imply that we'd also carry that over to the other one where you'd suggest that? Or should we look at that one next?
I'm not sure which one Denise is referring to. I don't know if you know the number, Denise.
I don't remember, I'm not sure of the number, but you'll see it, and that's the recommendation.
Yes, it's a different issue. She just meant there was another one that was in either or, which I can find that number if you guys want me to pull that up. Just one second.
It's okay.
Okay.
I think we just go with what we've come up with. Are we ready to go to the next one?
Yeah.
I've got number 33. Would you take a look at that? It looks like to me $1,000 penalty on that one on the dismantler, recycler. Seems a
Yes.
little low. Can you kind of tell us about that one?
Sorry. So this one was filed alleging that the respondent was operating as an unlicensed dismantler. And we had an investigation conducted, and within that investigation, they went to a location where the respondent was providing these parts to somebody to be sold. And they had a sign list essentially saying that the respondent had sold 56 56 parts, but we did not have information on how many sales those were, if that was to one person, 10 people, how many individual sales there were, just how many parts were provided by the respondent. And so that's why we were going with the $1,000 civil penalty, but I'm open to a higher civil penalty if you think that's appropriate.
I had that noted as well, and I had that noted as well, and I thought the civil penalty was in line. However, I put down to follow up, and they either cease or revoke their license.
Yeah, so they are unlicensed. And so
They
we
are
do
unlicensed.
include in the consent order that they have to cease. If they sign a consent order and agree, they have to cease all operation that's
Okay.
unlicensed activity.
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with that. It requires a follow-up.
Yeah, it works for me.
Okay.
So out of curiosity, are unlicensed dismantlers significantly different than like criminal chop shops? Is this a law enforcement notification?
We can refer it over to law enforcement. This one, like I was saying, was a little bit different than how you typically see them because they were giving it to somebody who was then selling them. But I can absolutely include to refer this over to law enforcement so they can do a further investigation if that's what the commission prefers as well.
Well, if you have the context to have a feel for whether or not it seemed like a criminal activity or not, but I mean, that can be a thing.
Yeah, we refer them over to law enforcement just for notification on nearly every report. So we can do that.
Taylor, I've got to ask the question. There were no catalytic converters in these parts, were there? Gotta ask.
That was not on the list that I saw.
Okay. Just gotta ask.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Commissioner Norton here. I've got a couple of things. One of them, in the recommendations I witnessed, there were many of them that says close and refer to consumer affairs. That's language I haven't been seeing over the years. Is there something changed about us referring? Because, you know, there's one case, I think it was, I'm not sure. There's one case where there's confusion with the dealer in between the commission and the consumer affairs. And now we're referring to consumer affairs. I mean, did something change?
Do you know which number
No,
that?
there's a bunch of them. You got 4,
Yeah,
7,
so
9, 11.
I'll say a few of the ones that I've had,
31.
Erica can speak on this as well, but I have been seeing an uptick in lemon law complaints. And so those all go over to the Attorney General Consumer Affairs Department. And so if that's if there's a few of those on there, I know that are mine. And so those refer over. And then Consumer Affairs, they have different regulations that they can enforce and they can help mediate a deal between parties, and which we can't do. And so that's why some of the other ones have been going over to Consumer Affairs. Previously, I might have just been writing Attorney General's office and not including the Consumer Affairs part in it because they're over at the Attorney General's office. I might have just changed the wording on how I was writing it, but every report
Well,
refers them over.
I applaud you for the deep dive because I've been reading these cases for close to 15
Yes.
years. And I just saw the language change. Now I understand why.
Yeah,
There's a
I may have
there's
just
a-
worded it
there's a
differently.
backstory.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And question on case number 42, it referred to a lemon law.
Mhm.
And was that a used car or a new car? Because I'm not aware of a lemon law on a used car.
Yes, it's only for new
Right,
vehicles.
right. And it didn't distinguish that I could find.
Yeah.
I was just,
Yes, I believe it was used, but we were referring over there just to see if there's anything that they could provide with a deal between the
Okay. all right. Okay.
the parties. Sorry, I was just trying to read over it.
And then I've heard the chairman speak of this, consistency, we want to try to be consistency in all of our fines and what we do. And then on case 90, you had advertising violation, and it was basically largely at fault of a third-party syndication, and it was quickly rectified, but we still had a fine. I think it was just a $500 fine. And then on case 96, there was no fine. And it was mentioned as an advertising error, a brief error, and I just didn't know if there was a difference between 90 and 96 is why we'd fine one for advertised? Okay. All right, 90 and 96.
While Erica's looking for those, just FYI, I was referring to a similar action where we provided the dealer the opportunity to make the consumer whole. If you look at number 45, it is absolutely a different allegation, but I think we probably have a better chance on this one of the dealer making the consumers whole because the fine is rather large.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes that does help.
I think 90, the, with a violation or several penalties because it was related to the price of the vehicle and they had multiple opportunities, dealer had multiple opportunities.
Your battery in the back?
It is.
Yep.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not that. Too many are on? No, it's.
Okay, all right, there. Sorry, I'm gonna have to repeat myself. Number 90 was related to a pricing error that the complainant asked about multiple times. I think the dealer had at least 3 opportunities to rectify and let them know that this is not the correct price before they drove up there. And then they had the vehicle ready and waiting for them when they arrived and still didn't tell them the almost $20,000 difference in the price of the vehicle. And then it took all the way until the financing of the paper, the financing paperwork part of the transaction for them to say, hey, by the way, this is not the price. It's almost $20,000 more. So I felt like that was, I wouldn't say intentional, but really negligent to make that error. And I think they could have fixed it if they were paying attention. And then with 96, 96 was just related to like a warranty that they were told before they made the purchase, this is not included, we made a mistake. So I thought that that was just a kind of a different situation, different severity of the error. But I'm open to, if you feel differently, we can
Well,
treat them the same.
well, until I knew the backstory, I really didn't know because I guess what you're saying, the staff has discretion based on willingness to comply.
Yeah, and I think, and just the severity of the error,
Sure.
I think that big of a price difference could be a bait and switch.
Yeah.
I think, accidentally saying something has a warranty when most of your cars do and making an error and then correcting it is not a bait and switch.
Yeah. Well, just being consistent is important. That way we don't discriminate. And of course, we don't see the names. We don't know who they are. And then also it was in 126. I know we've been consistent throughout these cases where we had civil penalties for too many temp tags. 126.
Okay.
So we had a good dozen.
Yeah, we had a lot.
Civil penalties this time for too many temporary tags. That's related to title delay. So obviously we talk about that a lot. But 126 was an issued a warning and it stated they issued too many temporary tags, but we didn't have a civil penalty on that one. Denise.
Oh.
This complaint had a lot of different moving parts, and we looked at that specific violation. There was a difference in one of the summaries that I read said, I calculated the days that had passed and it was 129 days. The other one said 119. The third temp tag was issued by the corporate office maybe that was located in Utah. And there are extenuating circumstances. That third temp tag was issued by a young lady who worked there who thought that the dealership involved was a Utah dealership because they had multiple dealerships. So that was not intentional that it came from Utah. And secondarily, she was very pregnant and had been trying to deal with this consumer to make them happy over a number of things. So, I mean, we do try to look at mitigating circumstances. And the temp tag arrived and she had it for one day until the registration came through. So yes, this one took at least the 120 days that revenue has determined, for the 2 temp tags. We just don't have any regulatory authority over Utah. We really can't do anything about that. I mean, we sort of similarly had one earlier where a dealership that's located in Tennessee, and they had multiple dealerships and they were issuing temp tags from one of their sister dealerships. That's a little bit horse of a different color. But I think after everything was said and done, we all reviewed this one. I reviewed more information than I'll ever remember from both the complainant and the respondent. And we try to look at mitigating circumstances, and we felt like this one
Yeah.
was justified a warning.
And one thing I will add, I think a difference, because we have seen a Tennessee dealer use one of their other dealers from out of state to potentially hide that 3rd temp tag. And I've seen those circumstances be, they're intentionally being deceptive by doing that. In this case, I did a lot of investigating into this, a lot of talking to both the dealer and the complainant, and it genuinely seemed like it was a mistake, an honest mistake. And again, it was for one day, and it was for somebody who was being very relentless about this situation. And I just think a young lady made that error as opposed to somebody trying to hide it.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I mean, typically you guys do a great job on this investigation. I mean, the cases are real smooth, they're fluid, but I just want to make sure we're being consistent, but that very reasonable there. But I mean, there's only so much data you can put in the narrative, because if not, I mean, these things are
It's
long
like
anyway.
a fine line, because we don't want to,
Keep it brief.
come off as giving you too much, because I know that can
Right.
be annoying.
Let's-
But we also want to try to give you
Yeah.
what? Yeah, we've got to also talk about it in an anonymous fashion, which is really difficult when you actually try to do it. But yeah, we try to walk that line,
Yeah,
but
that's
we're
good.
always open to advice if you think we're giving you too much or not enough.
That's
So
right. Mr. Chairman, that's all I've got.
So I thought number 4 was our most interesting, but it looks like number 103 is our biggest fine and maybe our biggest mess. But I didn't know if there's anything there that we needed to dig into. I know we're, I think north of $40,000 of fines.
yeah, that is a great way to describe 103. It seems to be a bit of a mess at the dealership. And 103 and 104 are very connected. They are owned by the same company. They're right next to each other at that location. They're just selling different makes. And they seem to be being run by the same office that is having the same sort of mess of a situation. They have had so many opportunities to, number one, respond to complaints. The amount of effort that we've made to get just the responses has been a lot more effort than we typically would make. We feel like we've given them a lot of chances, and then they've had quite a significant disciplinary history with the same issues that we're still seeing. So that's like the aggravating factors that led us to a larger fine than you would typically see.
But do you think it's enough? I mean, given all that, I mean, is this going to get their attention? Is this rock bottom, or are we just going to be talking about this again?
In my opinion, if this happens again with either one of these dealerships, we need to talk about suspension of their license. I wouldn't, I don't know, possibly revocation, but I was even open to talking about suspension at this point. But that's a big deal, they're franchise dealers,
It is.
I think it would be unwise to issue suspension against one of them and not the other. And they're serving a large population in that area, selling many different makes. So
Are you finding that there could be a possibility of money problems for the store, cash flow, capital?
I feel like it's just them not paying attention, maybe being inexperienced. I think there's sort of new owners. When I say that, a couple or a few years.
The reason I brought that up though was if they are having that trouble, a fine's not going to help that situation.
Right.
But go ahead and continue.
Yeah, I can't really tell based on what they've given me. I just know they've had some serious problems getting trade-ins paid off on time. But it's not a really lengthy amount of time. It seems
Yeah.
like once a complaint's filed, they figure it out and they get it taken care of, which makes me think maybe it's not money.
Mhm.
Maybe it's just serious disorganization, a serious misunderstanding of how important that is and how much it affects the consumer. A misunderstanding of how we regulate them and communication with us. So that's, it's hard for me to say for sure.
Do you get a feeling that if we do this, that it'll stop? Or do you think it's going to continue?
Well, the news has been, they investigated this too. They had news stories in the area. To me,
Mhm.
that's the worst it can get for somebody.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm hoping with a combination of that and these heavy fines would change, the trajectory of how they're handling their business. But again, if I would have seen another complaint, I would have thought, well, this problem isn't being solved or handled. But they stopped coming in and they kind of came in all together and then it stopped and I've not seen another one.
Okay.
So it's really just, it's hard to say. It's up to you. I've given you all the information I have really.
Well, I would like to see the fines remain in place.
Definitely. I mean, we can always
And
up
I
the
would like
fines.
to mention to them that the next step might be revocation. And while we can't make sure people are properly capitalized, I would say what's worse than being undercapitalized is undercapitalized and no license.
Yes, I would agree with that.
You know, I've got a recommendation. In the past, we've had a couple of dealers like this where if they had a history of this and they don't seem to be getting better, we had them come and appear before us and explain what's going on to the point where, I mean, there's a lot of consumers in the balance here. If you're a consumer, you don't get your loan paid off. Well, we know the bond only covers so much, right? So,
Right.
we have drug a few dealers here in front of us that explain to me why we're continuing to have this problem and drive it home. I don't know if that's something we recommend or want to consider, Mr. Chairman.
Well, if we're going to pull their license or consider pulling their license, I'd say if they're coming back up here, that they probably ought to be here in person
I mean,
before we
yeah.
do
Some
that.
of these cases are worth getting them up here. On this one, I think it's just, you just tell them you either pay and the next time it'll be revocation. And just draw it to an end.
Yeah, because, and that's where we're at too with our agreed citation schedule that we treat everybody the same unless there's aggravating or mitigating circumstances. And they are already at the point where there's no more fines we can give them after this. We would typically have a formal hearing or revocation. So it's also in line with, the process.
Well, has the proper notification been given to, I mean, the previous dealership we had come in, he was a minority partner. And I didn't know we later found out who it was and we knew there was a majority partner and he was unaware. So I'd make sure we're getting to the right person.
Can I, at the risk of revealing something that we should not reveal, it was mentioned there is new ownership at both of these dealerships. My understanding is that it was a family-owned deal. And I believe, and Jason's checking for me, I'm not sure when ownership changed, but I think that it's an out-of-state entity that came in. And I think a lot of it is exactly what Erica said. It's just sloppy. But it's unfortunate for the consumer. And that's where our greatest concern lies. And I think you all would agree. I mean, we want to make sure the consumers are taken care of. So, that's all I'll say.
And how long has this happened? I mean,
How long has it been going on?
well, how long has it been going on? I'm sorry, allergies are killing me. But no, what I'm saying is, how long has this new store owned this business?
Oh, Jason, are you looking into that? Okay, we're looking. But I can, just while they're looking, the complaints that we're talking about, let's see. It looks like the first one was open in December and the latest one was March. So we're talking about that time frame of this many complaints coming in, and then I don't think we've had any new ones.
It might take a minute for us to,
So the complaints are against the new owner, not the previous owner.
Right,
Okay.
right.
and when I say new owner, I'm not entirely certain how long that period has been, but we are checking. I got that information sort of second or third hand. But it made a lot of sense to me. You know, a lot of these franchise dealerships that are in the family for so long, you all know, there's just a lot more care that is given to the consumer than I think corporate entities tend to share.
And I will say, these issues seem to have been going on since 2024 as far as prior discipline. And I'm almost positive that it's been with this new ownership. So that does bother me, that we're talking about a year and a half of us trying to, you know, provide them with opportunities to just respond in the first place, and then, you know, fix some things or change the way they're handling the management of their business administratively. And it just seems like nothing has helped.
Okay.
So I thought, you know, these are large fines. We can always go larger. I feel like we have serious aggravating circumstances that would warrant it.
I do feel for a new store going in and just making mistakes in the very beginning. But again, it is a serious violation. I mean, you've got to pay those cars off in 30 days is more than enough time to get that done.
Yeah.
I think that most of our lenders and things, best I can remember, used to allow us 5 days or something.
Yeah.
You know, there's one other thing I want to, that, I put it in here, but I want to make it really clear. And another thing that bothered me and I thought was an aggravating circumstances, I saw repeated complaints saying that the staff was lying to them. Like saying, we've put the check in the mail, we put the check in the mail over and over. And that to me that means they know about the problem and they're not fixing it until they file a complaint. So that to me is another really big aggravating circumstance. And they already knew about it because of prior fines. And then you have complainants telling them this is still going on. I'm getting, you know, it could affect their credit. They might have 2 car payments because they have their trade-in payment and then their new car payment. And then they're lying to them to put these complainants off, and then they don't handle it until a complaint is filed. So I just wanted to make that clear as well.
Well, let me ask you this. So the fine, I agree with the fine and I agree with consequences coming in under compliance, but are we going to have to wait to see if we get more complaints, or is there something we can do as far as investigations to follow up?
Well, we could put them on some sort of a probation. Yeah. Sorry, I was listening to Taylor here. She has a really good recommendation that we could put in the consent order, make it part of the terms that if we get one more complaint about a failure to pay a trade-in on time or failure to provide registration on time, because both of those are happening at the same time, then we're going to recommend revocation and coming in to talk to the commission.
I would add,
Or
or
one.
failure to respond to you in a timely fashion.
I agree, because that one has just been nonstop. They've been really bad about that.
What was that last thing you said?
I would also add, you know, if they're late on paying off, late on titles, or failing to respond to the staff in the required time frame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe this is dire situation. It needs immediate action.
Okay. So this is just a thought too. We could include in the terms of the consent order, along with these fines, that they agree because again, they don't have to sign this. This is just a settlement offer. That they agree if we get, within the next 6 months, if we get one more complaint where we can prove there's a violation, obviously, if a complaint's filed, doesn't necessarily mean it's true. We have to make sure that that violation has actually occurred of failure to pay a trade-in or failure to provide registration timely or failure to respond to the commission timely. That you agree to immediate suspension. And then until you come into the, the next board meeting, address the commission, and then they'll decide whether you're going to be revoked or not.
The only thing I don't like
If-
about
if
that
we can
is
do
that I
that
don't,
legally,
I
I
don't-
like that.
I just worried that they wouldn't agree to that, right? And the purpose of this, try to get them into compliance. They're not going to agree to it.
That's a very serious, that's a very serious term to agree to.
Yeah.
And how do we know there's not some floating in there that's still lingering? You don't want to get them for
We don't know.
anything but going forward.
Yeah, we just don't know.
You wouldn't know until it became a problem.
But I can say, if we just go with the heavy fines, if another complaint comes in, I can recommend revocation, appearance before the commission, and do that anyways.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
have every, advantage on our side as far as how we handle everybody else and all, the complaint process, along with our agreed citation schedule, that's just what's next.
So we can do that with the fines, issue the fines with an explanation of next steps specifically.
Yes, make it very clear in the letter, in the consent order, they're not necessarily agreeing to anything. We're just putting them on notice. And we don't even need to, but we can do that, just so it's communicated to them.
They've had ample warning. They've had the local news feature them, and then
That
now
really
they've got the
surprises me that,
commission breathing down their neck. You think reasonable people would agree to compliance quickly. So, hopefully they'll get in compliance.
right.
I wonder if the local news would be interested in the fines and next steps.
I would think that they're probably paying attention to when we publish our next disciplinary action report, that they would probably see that and bring it up again. I'm just looking after this discussion, I'm just refreshing my understanding and memory of the fines that I recommended. I think on 103,
Yeah.
they're pretty large.
We said we.
But as far as 104, they're not as large. So it's up to you if you think that that's enough. It's one of the worst situations I've seen for a franchise dealer. I'll just put it that way.
Well, and we're just trying to reconstruct, and I apologize. This was a very long legal report. We're trying to reconstruct some things and see what we can find out. I believe that the dealership changed ownership hands in late 2022. We're trying to reconstruct how many fines between that amount of time. Obviously, well, I know, but seems like there were a lot at the end of this year and at the end of 2025 and the beginning of 2026. So I don't know, there seemed to be not a lot of problems between, let's say, early 2023 and late 2025. I don't know if there's been a change in employees or lack of oversight. We just don't know. But there does seem to be an alarming number recently. And what's concerning to me, because I saw more on this report than I think I've ever seen, was failure to pay off a pre-existing lien. And that was extremely concerning to me.
I can say, as far as change in employees, I know for sure that the administrative employee that handles responses to the complaint has been the same.
Has been what?
Has been the same for
Okay.
as long as I've been getting complaints against them since their new ownership.
Okay.
I don't think it's for us to figure out what's going on. All we can do is punish what's happened. And then if it gets bad enough and they have to come explain it to us, they can try to explain it to us. But for now, the fines and the warnings is what we can do.
And I feel like the fines, I mean, given the magnitude, if it comes with the explanation of revocation as the next step, if that doesn't get their attention, then I guess we'll see them again soon.
I can do that as well. I can encourage them to watch the hearing, give them, I can make it easy for them, say, go to this hour and minute of the hearing and here's your cases, so you don't have to
Sure.
figure it out.
Any further discussion? Commissioner Levy, you have any?
No, sir.
Were you done?
I'll do it.
Okay. Well, I'd entertain a motion to adopt the legal report as amended.
So approved. Second.
Denise?
Apologies. The motion made. I'm sorry. Apologies. I apologize. The motion made by Commissioner Chairman Roberts, seconded by Commissioner Morton to adopt the legal report as amended. Commissioner Levy?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer?
Aye.
Votes aye. And Chairman Roberts? Votes aye. You've adopted the legal report as amended.
Denise, Executive Director Lawrence, would you call the roll?
Yes, sir. Commissioner Andrews
Here?
is present. Commissioner Copenhaver
Here.
is present. Commissioner Evans is present. Commissioner Jung
Here?
is present. Commissioner Karas
Here.
is present. Commissioner Kramer is present. Commissioner Levy
Present.
is present. Commissioner Norton
Present.
is present. Commissioner Owens is present. Commissioner Rydell is present. Commissioner Vaughn
Present.
is present. Commissioner West
Here.
is present. And Chairman Roberts
Present.
is present. Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
We have, I guess, the public comments in the back of the building, is that, or back of the room, is that right, Denise? Okay. And so please sign that if you want to make a comment today, other than the business you're here for. Meeting notice.
I'll read the meeting notice now. Today's meeting date, time, and location have been noticed on the Tennessee Motor Vehicle Commission website, included as part of this year's meeting calendar since April 22nd, 2026. Additionally, the agenda for this month's meeting has been posted on the Tennessee Motor Vehicle Commission's website since April 2026. This meeting has also been noticed on the tn.gov website.
Okay, we need to vote to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next is the approval of the minutes. That's that long file that we get. What's your pleasure on the minutes?
Make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Second. Okay. Any further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, would you call the roll for the minutes?
Yes, sir. The motion is to approve the minutes made by Commissioner Vaughn and seconded by Commissioner Norton. Commissioner Levy?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner West? Votes aye. Commissioner Rydell? Votes aye. Commissioner Jung?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Copenhaver?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Karas?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton? Votes aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Owens? Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer? Votes aye. Commissioner Evans? Votes aye. And Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
Votes aye. You have adopted the agenda.
Okay, next we have salesperson dealer appeals. And who wants to start us?
Anthony Bill.
Excuse me?
Anthony Bill.
Yes, but they would, who's our first one is Anthony Bell. Would you bring us up to speed on what what we can do and your usual preliminary?
I apologize. Yes, first applicant is Anthony Bell. The charge was, is Mr. Bell here? So he may
Okay.
not be here, so we would just have to vote to uphold the denial.
I make a motion that we uphold the denial.
Second.
Any further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence left the room. We just need a roll call vote that we upheld it.
Commissioner Levy?
Aye.
Commissioner West?
Aye.
Commissioner Rydell?
Aye.
Commissioner Jung?
Aye.
Commissioner Copenhaver?
Aye.
Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
Commissioner Karras?
Aye.
Commissioner Yarborough? Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Commissioner Owens? Commissioner Kramer? Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
Motion is made to uphold the denial.
Okay. Next one is Desiree Pappas.
The relevant charge is theft of merchandise up to $1,000. The latest date of release is July 12th of 2024. So the commission has discretion to deny until January 12th of 2029.
Okay, would you tell us your story?
Yes, I will. Long story short, I was addicted to drugs and I was stealing clothes to provide for my drug habit. And as we all know, you only get two options when you're using drugs. You're either going to die or you're going to go to jail. And that's what happened with me. But I think I have a much better story. In the last 3 years, I have been sober. November of this year, I have been sober for 3 years. In that 3 years, I went to inpatient treatment. I also went to outpatient treatment. I did counseling. I've paid for a 2-year hair follicle. I've gotten full custody back of my children. I was just approved for a home, and I have my license as far as like my driver's license. I have insurance, and I have a paid off vehicle within that 3 years. I've also started a credit repair business, and now I want to sell cars.
Very good. Did you bring anybody with you?
I have Josh here with me.
Yes. Would he like to come up and address us and tell us what role he'll play in your employment?
Hey, thank you for your time this morning and hearing us out. So we'd like to get Desiree licensed to be a salesperson at one of our locations. I'm at that location pretty frequently, along with my business partner, the other dealer principal for Old Ben Franklin. So there's a lot of oversight involved with this. She's been kind of hanging around the store, helping us out administratively, observing, helping us run cars, doing just basically whatever we asked, and really just hasn't missed a beat. She's got a great story. She's got a family that she's trying to provide for. I think she's going to be really good for us. I think this industry could be really good for her.
Okay. Questions from the commission?
Commissioner Vaughn, I've got questions for you, Desiree. Did you make restitution?
Yes, ma'am. I have completed restitution. I have no further legal battles or anything like that to
That was
complete.
about to be my next question.
Yes, ma'am. Everything is completed.
Okay, and do you have a support system in place to help make
I
sure
have
that
the
you
best
stay on
support
track?
system that I've ever had thus far. I do. And I really want to get into this business because there's not a lot of women in this business.
Mhm.
And I think I have a lot to offer to this business. And so hopefully I can restart my story. That's really this is the last thing. I want a good career. Everybody knows you can make money in the car business, but it's so much more than that for me personally. I think that I can actually make a lot of changes just as a woman in general. So I'm just looking for that chance.
To expand on that, a support system, does that mean, or do you have an ongoing recovery program you're participating in?
It's not ongoing as far as actual, am I going to actual classes anymore? Because as I said, I'm almost 3 years in. However, I do have a sponsor that I'm still in contact with. I have sober family members, and everybody is aware that I am in recovery that is in my life today, which is important because they hold me accountable. So.
Very good.
I make a motion that we approve the license.
I second.
Does somebody second it?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, will you call the roll on this applicant?
The motion is to approve Ms. Pappas's application made by Commissioner Vaughn and seconded by Commissioner Norton West. Apologies. Commissioner Levy?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner West? Votes aye. Commissioner Rydell?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Jones?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Copenhaver?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Karas?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton? Votes aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Owens? Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer? Votes aye. Commissioner Evans? Votes aye. And Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
Votes aye. Ms. Pappas, we will issue your license today. We'll email an electronic copy to your dealer, and you'll get the hard copy in the mail in about 14 days.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Congratulations. Next is Travis Thompson.
For Mr. Thompson, the relevant charge is robbery. The latest date of release is June 20th of 2030. So the commission has discretion to deny until June 20th of 2035.
Okay, Mr. Thompson, you want to address us and tell us your story?
Yeah, I mean, like this other, this like this young lady back here said about.
Pull up a little closer
Okay.
so we can
Yeah,
hear you.
like this young lady said about a time in her life where she was just like battling with addiction. I mean, I was going through the same thing, and it's just a part of my life that I try to forget about. I've completed a 28-day inpatient, I work a 12-step program, AANA. I've networked real good with other people in the program, and that's just how I try to keep my circle, just people in sobriety. I just really need this opportunity, man. I'm a little too old to like carry shingles or wood or blocks or something like that. And I got just a little taste of the car business, man. And it's like something I'm kind of talented at. And I'd like to go forward with that and try to, make a, decent living. That's all I got.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who'd you bring with you?
Man, I got
My
Kyle Banks.
name's Kyle Bankston. I'm the general sales manager at Watson Chevrolet, and I took interest in Travis and seen potential in him, and I took it as an honor to come down here. As a matter of fact, I came in front of this very board about 17 years ago because I was a convicted felon, and you all gained or granted my appeal. So since then, I've been able to clear my record and pay all the things, and I've had a very good career in the car business and provided a life for my family. I don't know how else would have been possible without the second chance that I got here. So I took it as an opportunity to come with him. I see a good deal of potential in him, and we'd love to have him. If y'all'd let him operate in the state of Tennessee, we'd be glad to take him. So thank you.
Okay. Will you be overseeing him?
I will. I'm his direct supervisor.
Okay.
I work on the sales desk 6 days a week. I work more than I want to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So, yes, I would.
Okay. Okay, commission members, questions?
I have a question. Commissioner Jung, could you please help me understand a little bit more about the time you've been spending at this current dealership? What kind of activities you've been doing? What's the overall relationship or interaction?
Yeah, I just come in and worked for the 45 days before I was able to file for the license. I've just been interacting with customers, talking to everybody that I see, introducing myself.
This was during his process of that. Once he got denied, we had to terminate him, obviously. We had to terminate him from the store when he got denied the license. But prior to that, when he first come in, we let him interchange with customers and do that for about a week, I guess, or something like that. But since then, from our understanding, we had to let him go until we came here and gained permission for him to work in the car business. So I didn't think he understood the question. I wanted to make sure to
That's
enlighten
okay.
everybody on it.
I know I'm not as clear. And then, Travis, could you also please tell us a little bit about what kind of support system you have and what things that you're doing in order to keep yourself sober?
Just friends and family. I just, and I just put God in everything. It's like it's just like the more I put God in my life, the better it becomes, man. I just put him in just every decision, man, everything that I think, just a lot of prayer. And, like I said, I do the NA, the 12-step program. I got a sponsor. I mean, everything's going really great. You know what I mean? I just like to stay away from the old people, places and things and just keep moving forward and I just try to forget my past, really.
And you've been sober for how many days now?
Probably 180, 200, something like that. Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Vaughn, have you had any other issues or problems since this has occurred?
No, ma'am.
Were you incarcerated?
I was incarcerated.
What were you incarcerated for?
Can I jump in really quick? Before, just so we remain ADA compliant, just before you speak, just introduce yourself, okay?
I didn't know what she said. What she said? Okay, gotcha.
Go ahead.
Commissioner Norton. So, what were you incarcerated for?
Robbery and aggravated assault in April 24 to 2015. Yes, sir.
So that's been
11 years ago.
okay.
Yeah.
And during that stretch, did you have a drug problem up until 180 days ago?
No.
What
I
is
mean-
what does your career consist of? What have you done over the past, say, 5 years or?
And I've done some restaurant work. I've roofed houses. I've worked for Clayton Homes. I was in the Carpenters Union for a little while. It just said nothing that I was like interested in. You know, it's like now when I get up, go to work, I'm like excited about it. And, I'm like ready to tackle and go in there, sell 10 cars in a day, It's just something I want to do, man. I mean, just a bunch of odd jobs, just carrying stuff and toting stuff. And I mean, just at my age, that's not something I can see myself doing into like past retirement, selling cars. I mean, I can see, me able to keep working past retirement and just trying to make a decent living.
So prior to this, you've never had any automotive sales experience?
No, sir, not at all.
And how long have you known the staff that you're here with today? How long have you known the people at the
I've
dealership?
known Bankston about a year. Yeah, he's my buddy.
What we're trying to do is establish some stability in your life that we feel comfortable, grant you a license that you serve our consumers.
Yeah. I'm excited about it. Like everybody that I talk to, they always that they would just tell my managers that I was, really good dealing with them, and they enjoyed the experience of dealing with me while they was at the car lot. It was, yeah.
So do you have meetings here? Are you going to meetings? I mean, I'm familiar with addiction. I mean, it's a lifelong commitment to that.
Yeah.
So do you have regular meetings?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I go to a gentleman's meeting on Tuesdays at the Gateway, and I go to Hugs Over Drugs and Faith Over Fear. They're just 3 meetings that I attend to at the same day every week.
Sierra, Commissioner Levy, your memorandum talks about robbery, and you just mentioned robbery, but the form indicates the conviction was DUI on the appeal request form. Which crime is the one that's relevant for our discussion here? So I guess my question is on the form, the appeal request form. He mentions a conviction regarding a DUI, but that doesn't seem to have anything to do with the robbery. I'm just confused why there's any mention of a DUI on the appeal form.
I'm not sure. Jason, the applicant completes that form, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the relevant conviction is just robbery. DUI is not considered a crime of moral turpitude, so that's why it's not included in the analysis. The applicant may have put that he had a DUI, just maybe, I'm not sure why, but.
Okay, but was the prior conviction properly noted in his application for the staff to catch it, or is it something? Okay. Sir, can you explain why in your appeal form you mentioned a DUI, and when did that DUI occur?
The DUI was in, it's probably been a year and a half ago. I'd put it in there because it was just asking about my criminal history, and I just wanted to, make sure everything was down, that's the only reason I put it in there.
I think that happens where they just include each offense. They don't know necessarily what's relevant for consideration, so they was just trying to include all the information.
I understand. And your manager here said that you were fired once the appeal was, once the application was denied? What have you been doing? What have you been doing since then? Where have you been working since that time?
I've been helping a friend cut a little bit of grass, on days he's needed help. I mean, it's really good. That's all I've been doing since then. It's been about 6 weeks.
Will you stand closer to the microphone?
Stand closer.
For about 6 or 7 weeks, I've been helping a buddy of mine that's got a landscaping business, just cut grass, just trying to make ends meet until I come up here and talk to you guys.
Commissioner Vaughn, have a question. Did you make restitution
I
for
did.
the robbery?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Evans, for the gentleman representing Mr. Thompson.
Yes, sir.
Has Mr. Thompson been forthright with you about all this? Because it's kind of a surprise to us. You know, we're thinking it's robbery here and now we're seeing DUI. Has he been forthright with all of his?
Yes, he certainly has. And the DUI being mentioned on the form may have been a little bit of my mistake too. I told him when he made the application to this appeal that it was extremely important that he was extremely honest on it, because I knew that from the past experience that you didn't want to look like you'd maliciously hid anything. So him putting DUI, and honestly, I didn't know if that's something that would make a determination on your choice or not. I told him to put everything that was on his record. So that mistake could have very well come from my supervision itself.
Thank you. I mean, like Commissioner Norton said earlier, it's just of the utmost importance to us as a body that, you know, we are doing what we can to protect the consumer. So
Understand,
it's
yeah.
always helpful for us to have all the information so we can make the best decision possible with the consumer in mind.
I understand completely, sir.
Thank you.
Commissioners, Jason Gillum, can I just clarify what you're talking about? On the appeal form, we have a question that asks if they've had a license revoked or whether it was a professional license or a driver's license. And his DUI probably resulted in the revocation of his driver's license. So I just wanted to clarify that is the question on the form.
That's the reason.
Commissioner Jung, sorry, I have additional follow-up for the sponsor, the manager at the dealership.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please help clarify how long you've known Mr. Thompson and the relationship and how you evaluate and judge his character based on that?
To be completely honest with you, I met him through NA because I'm in recovery myself. So I met him through that about a year, actually a little bit more than a year ago. I haven't had, I wouldn't say a close friendship with him, but a good acquaintance. I see him several times a week and we did exchange phone numbers. I told him I'd help him any way I could. It was actually my idea for him to come into the car business. And I told him get in the beginning when I knew about his history and the criminal offenses, I knew that this would be a stair step and a deciding factor whether or not it'd be even a possibility for him to be able to do it or not. So we knew that this day would come very first day when the idea come through my mind. Since then, I've kept, honestly, his ambition to stay on top of me, to come here with him has been admirable in its sense too. He's texted me every other day, reminding me, making sure, hey, are you going to still go up here with me and try to help me go forward with it? So, I like ambition about more than I do talent, to be honest with you at this point. So I've got a little closer with him probably since it was denied than what I was even before that. A very short period of time that we was able to work together. I can't speak 100% for his character because I don't know him that well, but I have a very good sense of judgment, I feel like, and I'd never hire anybody that I thought was going to be a threat to our customers or get us in any kind of trouble or anything ourselves. So I've chose to hire him. If you'd allow him to work with us, I'd be happy to have him and do everything I can to keep it on the up and up. So if that answers your question.
Commissioner Norton, I'm going to say that, you know, it's not been a long time since your recovery, and I've got some concern about, you know, what you've gone through and where you're at today. But we've been doing this a long time, and we try to look for ways to give people an opportunity to move forward. So I'm torn on this, but I am going to make a motion that we grant him his license. But I just want to say I'm concerned about your recovery time. But I feel good about giving you a chance of making that motion. So
Commissioner Vaughn, second.
Any further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, will you call the roll for this vote?
The motion is to grant licensure made by Commissioner Norton and seconded by Commissioner Vaughn. Commissioner Levy? Aye. Votes aye. Commissioner West? Votes aye. Commissioner Rydell? Aye. Votes aye. Commissioner Jung? Votes aye. Commissioner Copenhaver?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Karras?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton?
aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Owens? Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer? Votes aye. Commissioner Evans? Votes aye. And Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
Votes aye. The commission has approved licensure for your salesman license. It will be emailed electronically today, and you'll get a hard copy in the mail about 14 days later. Congratulations.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Commissioners, if you would, please make sure you're speaking clearly into the microphone and that your microphone is on. That'd be great.
Calvin McHenry.
So for Mr. McHenry, the relevant charge is obstructing official business. The latest date of release was September 9th of 2025, so the commission has discretion to deny until September 9th of 2030.
Okay, would you like to address us?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good morning. First of all, this charge here had nothing to do with anything automobile related. I've been in the industry for over 15 years. Out in the East Coast with two larger dealer groups. Held my sales license for 14 years. Never had any revocations, anything at all. This unfortunate event that took place, it was a big misunderstanding. I've spent my life suffering with anxiety and depression, and I've battled it. I've been in therapy voluntarily for a great part of my adult life. I'm just trying to understand how to best be my best version of myself. This incident right here, I just moved to a new town, and was going through a divorce. My ex-wife had given me her vehicle. I had taken it back over. She has a license plate frame around it. I didn't realize that her tag had expired a month before. I go to dinner by myself. I take a turn, and as soon as I take the turn, I realize that it's a one-way street, brand new little town I'm living in. I pull right over then, and then there's a cop. He pulls me over, tells me, I said, sorry, I just went down that street. I just moved here. Explain everything to him. He then tells me that my license plate expired and that my driver's license is expired. I had gotten a speeding ticket 6 months ago, and the town I lived in forgot to turn in my insurance form. And so they had a suspension on my license that nobody knew about. So at this time, the officer, he's there, me and him were just talking, and everything's totally fine. 3 other officers come there. They asked to just search my vehicle. I complied. I allowed them to search my vehicle, which I didn't feel like that was warranted, but at the same time, I had nothing to hide. They searched my vehicle. He tells me to leave my car parked there in the bank parking lot and to come back before Monday to get this. This is on a Saturday. He says, come back before Monday and just pick up your vehicle, then clear this up. So later that evening, I went back to get my vehicle. I go a block. He pulls me over again. I explained to him, sir, you told me to come back and get my vehicle. At this point in time, 7 officers show up. I have an anxiety attack as I'm going through it. I'm just asking him why I can't just go another block to get my car home, explain everything to him. One officer felt like I had spoken too much, and then I was arrested. At that point in time, that Monday I get out, I go straight, that Sunday, this happened on a Saturday. On Sunday, they released me. That Monday, I go right down to the police department. They look at everything. They find out through the DMV that my license was actually not suspended. At that point in time, I had actually saw the arresting officers. I apologized to them immediately because at the end of the day, my job is to comply and to shut up. And I didn't shut up. And I needed to shut up. And due to the fact that I didn't, my mouth got me in trouble, and that's why I'm standing here today. I accepted full responsibility. This charge right here, there was a couple other things that they were attempting to put on there as far as charges. the agreement was is that in a year that this would be expunged, I paid a fine and that was it. There was no restitution beyond that. I stand here today because my years in the business, I've always been that person that's helped people. I've always been a leader. I've always have done those things. And I'd like to be able to continue that in the state of Tennessee. Like I said, I have no expert. I was in the wrong. That's the best I can say. I can give you guys 1,000 reasons. You know, my grandmother just passed away. I'm going through a divorce. You know, those different things. But at the end of the day, I had to be accountable. All I had to do was just be quiet and just let them do their job. And so I'm fully accountable for it. Like I said, I've apologized to the arresting officers before even having to. And I'd love to be able to, you know, work in the state of Tennessee.
I have a follow-up question. I apologize. You mentioned an expungement. Was the expungement processed and completed?
It has to be a year after that date. So September, I believe it's September 9th of this year, it'll be able to be expunged.
Okay, thank you.
And you brought somebody with you?
Yes. Hi, my name is Kathy Hauer, and I'm actually the owner of the dealership that so I'm here.
So you'll be directly supervising him?
Yes, I will
Okay.
be.
Why don't you tell us about your relationship with him and some background for us?
Well, we are actually I'm in the process of starting the dealership. We're still in the startup phase. So he will be one of the salespeople, obviously, if he gets his license back.
Okay.
Commissioner Vaughn, I have a question for you. How long have you been in the car business, or what's your experience in the automotive industry?
This is brand new for me. I'm just in the process of starting this dealership.
So you've never worked at a car dealership before?
That is correct.
Commissioner Norton, follow up on that. Do you have someone in your organization that you're leaning on or helping you? Who would?
Calvin has been,
Okay.
yes.
I guess it's a question for staff. Have we been able to verify the details is what he said consistent with what you all know?
As far as, this is Sierra Shepherd, as far as the facts of,
With just the interactions with law enforcement, et cetera?
so we wouldn't have that information. We just go by the judgments. We would just, yeah, this is just their opportunity to provide the story. We don't actually get the backstory. We just see what they were convicted of.
So follow-up question. How long has this dealership, how long have you been open? I'm assuming you have your license now.
Yes. Well, when did we get the license?
So
In October?
we started the company in October. The only reason why we got our dealer's license was because the name of our business is called Skip Your Dealers. And what we wanted to do was to be an advocate for customers within their car buying process. And so we're set up to assist customers with buying vehicles. For us to be able to do our job fully, we had to get our dealer's license to be able to have certain software like Viato and Cox Automotive, different things. And so we got our dealer's license. But the main thing that we were that we were attempting to do was to start a company where we were able to kind of, I don't want to say be a car realtor, but to be able to help and be a liaison when people go to the car dealerships. And so our whole entire company and our whole entire basis is based off of helping clients avoid some of the things that you all were talking about earlier in your, that you guys were looking at. So we're in the very beginning phases. We haven't sold any vehicles yet. We're just a startup that's getting to the point of being able to do what we're doing. But we need to get this right here, taken care of. She's got her dealer's license. She's got her sales license. We haven't helped any clients at all yet. We need to get through this step first in order to continue to move on. There's other support staff that we will be hiring, but we needed to scale because this is our investment. This is our money coming into this. And so we have to build it and scale. But the plan is to have 5 Calvins, 10 Calvins, and not make it where, it's just to me doing it right now. Because of my experience in the automobile industry, certain things that have to be taken care of, like licensing and tag work and understand all that. I've been helping with that because of my experience with that. So the back end of getting everything set up the right way legally, that's board compliant and state compliant. That's what we've been working on since October, whenever we filed our business license.
Let me follow up for you, Mr. Henry. As far as you mentioned you had a lifelong battle with anxiety and depression. Are you currently under treatment for that? Are you doing anything to prevent issues?
Well, I'll tell you, I've been in treatment. I've been doing counseling and therapy for a decade now. I recently, once I moved to Tennessee for the last year, I've been able to get off my anti-anxiety medication, my depression. I've been able to get off of that. I still do follow up with my counselor, but I mean, it's been a complete 180-degree, I don't want to say turn, but like just something about Tennessee has just really like, I guess kind of helped me. Maybe it was just like a change of scenery, you know, and maybe it was just releasing certain things to God. I don't know, but I still do follow up because, as you all know, I mean, anxiety and a lot of mental health things, I mean, it's continuous upkeep. It's not where you just say, hey, I'm good, see you guys later. And so, I mean, I'm always, you know, in contact with the professionals that I've worked with for, you know, a long time.
That's all I got. Okay.
Commissioner Evans, so for legal, so did the charge occur in Ohio?
Yes, sir.
Correct.
Okay, and that just travels across state lines when he applies for
Yeah, so
his
any
life?
conviction is relevant regardless of if it occurs here or in another state. I'm sorry, any conviction that's a crime of moral turpitude is relevant regardless of the location of where it was committed in the US.
Okay, and he was charged in Knox County, is that?
Let me pull it up really quick.
Crime occurred in Ohio, charged in Knox County.
Yes, it's Mount Vernon, Ohio.
Thank you.
Commissioner Jung, I have a question for you. Do you have any other prior convictions or any other issues that have not been communicated, or even if they've gone past the time?
I had a DUI in 2011.
Okay.
Took care of restitution. That was it. Did counseling. Actually continued on beyond that because one thing I did learn through that in 2011 was that mental health is a lot of connected with that. And so it allowed me to kind of take it even beyond what the court said with helping just as a growth thing. So
Commissioner Vaughn, so you know and understand the laws of the state of Tennessee when it comes to the Motor Vehicle Commission and
yes, ma'am. I'm sitting back here as you all were talking about your legal stuff and I'm shaking my head like, how the heck are people doing those things? So yes, I'm very familiar with the laws of the state of Tennessee as well as Ohio and Virginia, where I started at. Never had my license revoked, never had it taken away.
it's definitely a different business. And that my question is because of the person that you brought with you has no experience whatsoever in the car business. So it's quite a interesting business for sure.
And I've surrounded myself since I've gotten here. Karen Brown with the Tennessee Independent Auto Dealers Association. We spent a lot of time on the phone with her as well too. And so we're putting ourselves around the right people to make sure that we're going to ensure our success. I have a family to take care of. We have a lot of money invested in this. We can't not do it the right way. There's no shortcuts that will ever be taken.
Commissioner Norton, have you ever owned and operated a business before?
Yes, I was in the entertainment industry, in the music industry. I had my own music marketing agency back in 1999. So yes, I do have experience running a business.
And ma'am, have you ever owned and operated a business before?
I have not.
Okay. Yeah, I have concerns. I mean, I'm just going to say I have concerns about the stability of this. I mean, obviously she's never ran a business. She seems to be the driving force behind the business. I mean, you've had some issues, obviously, and I'm a little bit concerned about the stability of a new business, especially it's our job to protect the consumers from potential harm. And, we want to put good dealers and good people in business. And that's what we try to do. We try to give chances and opportunity. That's what's good for the state of Tennessee. But I've just got some concerns. So thought I'd just share that with the rest of the staff. Anybody had any other comments related to their questions?
Staff, can we, I'm going to ask a question based on Commissioner Norton's comment. The only thing that we're looking at today is Mr. McHenry's license. So we really aren't looking at your counterpart's dealer license.
Yes, they're already a licensed dealer, so all you're under consideration today is whether or not you should
Yeah.
approve the salesperson's
So I just
license
wanna
based on the
make sure that
information.
we're on the right
Correct.
wavelength.
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn, I make a motion that we approve the license.
I second. Commissioner West.
Any further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, will you call the roll for this approval or this?
The
license?
motion is to approve licensure made by Commissioner Vaughn and seconded by Commissioner West. Commissioner Levy? Oh,
Aye.
votes aye, Commissioner West.
Aye.
Votes aye, Commissioner Rydell.
Aye.
Votes aye, Commissioner Jung.
Aye.
Votes aye, Commissioner Copenhaver. Votes aye, Commissioner Andrews.
Aye.
Votes aye, Commissioner Karas.
Aye.
Votes aye, Commissioner Norton. Votes aye, Commissioner Vaughn.
Aye.
Votes aye, Commissioner Owens.
Aye.
Votes aye, Commissioner Kramer. Votes aye, Commissioner Evans.
Aye.
Votes aye, and Chairman Roberts.
Aye.
Votes aye. Mr. McHenry, we will issue your license today and email you an electronic copy and then mail the hard copy in about 14 days. Y'all hang out just a few minutes if you don't mind.
Thank you for your time today, you all.
Okay. Good luck. Malik Samir, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correct or not. Hamud?
Hamud, yes, sir.
Hamud.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Good morning, everybody.
So the relevant conviction is theft of merchandise. The latest date of release is July 23rd of 2021. So the commission has discretion to deny until July 23rd of 2026.
Are y'all waiting for me? I'm sorry.
Yes. I'm sorry.
So in a nutshell, I don't want to sound like a broken record. 2011 to 2016, I was in the car business, was doing phenomenal. Had a car accident, broke my sacrum bone. Doctor cut me off, cold turkey. Sure you guys heard the story. One thing led to another, things spiraled out of control. 2022, I was incarcerated until October of 2024. And since my release, I have gotten my GED. My oldest son, he's gotten his GED. He's in the car business now. When I was released, I went to a relative and was working for a beauty supply chain. It's not my passion is selling cars. So I was like, you know what, give it a shot. I went to a dealership. They looked at my background history and were like, we'll give you a shot. And I wowed them, was there for about 45 days before the official denial letter came. And here we are. Like I said, the car business is my passion. I do have a sponsor that is on standby that I talk to at least once a week in support of him, coworkers, and my mother, of course, and my children. So.
Okay, who'd you bring with you?
This is my general sales manager, Brett Davis.
Okay, Brett, you would like to address us?
Sure. How y'all doing? Malik has been just a model employee in the 45 days or so that he has been, he was with us. Of course, we had to let him go once the sales license got denied. But he was a great, influence on the younger salespeople, teaching them how things are done in the car business because he was the only one with any kind of experience. Very productive. We really want him back. That's why I'm here and, to vouch for him. And I mean, the way I look at it for what it's worth. He, was in prison, paid his debt to society, and now he just wants a chance to make money the right way again and provide for his family, which, one of his younger sons is actually working with us now. And it's kind of heartwarming to see like the father son and him teaching him the trade. But he's got every reason to stay on the up and up and the straight and narrow path, and I think he will. He's just got too much to lose this time.
Okay. Any
Commissioner-
questions from Commission?
Commissioner Vaughn, I've got questions for Malik.
Yes, ma'am.
So, were you required to make restitution?
Yes, ma'am. I have
Did
paid
you?
all. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you do have plenty of support?
Yes, ma'am. Plenty of support and everything is behind me now. I have nothing pending on me anywhere.
That was my next question.
Yes,
So-
ma'am.
And
Everything.
what's your experience in the car business?
So when I first got in the car business, I was a salesman for 2 years, and then I was put in F&I for about 1.5 years, and then I was put on the desk for about 1.5 years. That's when I had my car accident. I took some time off, and then I was also, my father, God rest his soul, he was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. So 6 months after, he ended up passing away, and my father was a great man. Something inside of me broke, but I've got my mom I take care of now, my 6 children, and I have too much riding on this. So
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot. Okay. Okay, thanks.
Commissioner Levy, on the appeal form, I don't know why I'm so focused on the form today, but the question is, please describe your conviction and the events leading up to your conviction. Parentheses, if the crime involved motor vehicle industry in any way, please explain. And your answer was, none of my crimes involved the motor vehicle industry. So that's the second paragraph. The first sentence, please describe your conviction and the events leading up to your conviction. Can we just get a little bit more detail as to what the crime was?
make a long story short, when my doctor cut me cold turkey, I was looking for other ways to feed my habit and made some bad decisions. And like I said, I've got a really strong support system. I've changed the people, place, and things, you know.
Can you elaborate on what those bad decisions were?
Just theft, you know, doing things I wasn't in the right mindset at the time of doing. Like I said, I took some things that didn't belong to me, but I never, you know, not to justify, but none of my crime had anything to do with the car business, consumers. I have never deceived anybody in the car business. From my first 5-year run in the car business and even in the little 45-day stint, I'm real big on building future business and try to set a good example for the younger guys that are just coming in and show them how to do things and do things the right way, and how doing things you're not supposed to do ultimately can, you know, lead to your demise. Because I stepped over dollars to pick up pennies, and I won't make that mistake again.
But Commissioner Vaughn, what did you steal and who did you steal it from?
So I was doing, when I took the time off from the car business and then my father passed away, I started doing landscaping and had a disagreement with the person. It was somebody I knew, and when they weren't home, I basically invited myself in and took a couple of dollars, but like I said, it was a mistake. On top of the other things I was dealing with, it was just quick money. Again, just bad decision.
Commissioner Norton, a couple of dollars, it says between $10,000 and $60,000. How much was it?
So that charge was, again, I don't know how to explain this. I was fighting 2 charges, and when I was told if I took one to trial, I had to take the other to trial. One of the 10 to 60 was a relative who owned a cell phone store that accused me of doing something. Again, because I had this other charge and I was guilty of it, I was told that I couldn't, if I took one to trial, I had to take both to trial, and I knew I was guilty of one, so I just signed for both. But that's a whole nother explanation there. But that was a relative thing, and he's actually dealing with some troubles himself. It's just a bad business ordeal on that.
Commissioner Levy, we're just trying to understand what happened. I think we've made it very clear in all of our understandings. We just need you to be transparent with us so we can feel confident that you moved past it and that we can trust you with consumers. What did you take?
Yes, sir. So
And what happened?
Yeah, so the 10 to 60 was, I was working at a cell phone store, partnered with a relative. Again, there was a squabble, a disagreement over money. I took half of the inventory that I invested in. He reported that I took all his inventory, just to clarify the story. But we ended up settling it. But by the time we settled it, like I said, I was already dealing with this other issue that I was guilty of. And so it was kind of a all in one, hey, you can't take this to trial without taking everything to trial. And I knew I was guilty of one of the crimes, so I signed for everything. But that was, again, I was managing a cell phone store that I was just getting into partnership with a cousin of mine, and things were coming up missing. There was some funny business going on, and I wanted to get myself out of it and take what I'd put into it. But because the building was in his name and I was a minority, I had a minority stake in it, I went about it the wrong way. And
Commissioner Jung, I have a few questions about, you had said basically because of the medication you were on, you were cut off from it. Can you talk a little bit about the treatment program you went through and whether or not you're sober or how many days, years that's been?
so I've been clean and sober. September will be 4 years this September. I've been free since my release, I've been out for about a year and a half. I got in touch with an old sponsor that I was seeing before I went in or before I was incarcerated. So between my sponsor and family, like I said, if I did, obviously I was incarcerated. I did inpatient treatment. And then, like I said, I have my sponsor on speed dial if need be.
Any more questions? Not, what's your pleasure on this applicant?
Actually, I do have a couple of questions for your supervisor. So were you fully aware of all of the details he shared here today?
Yes, unfortunately, yeah.
And so you will be supervising him, and how long have you been in the car
Directly.
business?
I've been 13 years.
Okay. So how long have you been at yeah, how long have you been at the dealership that you're at now?
The current one, about 3.5 months.
Okay. And you have the support of the owners to come here today?
Absolutely.
And they're aware of all of this?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's good. He's a natural at this business. Customers love him. He gets the job done. And most importantly, he's showing these younger guys how it should be done in a lot of circles. I don't want to get his head too big, but yeah, I mean, he's a good role model for him. He's a team player, and we really need him.
Does he show up on time?
Absolutely.
That's right. It's a big one.
Works bell to bell.
Commissioner Rydell, staff question. This is as of July 23rd of this year, he'd be eligible anyway. Is that true?
Correct.
Commissioner Jung, just one more follow-up for Malik. I think that the challenge that you're seeing here is that I feel one of the most important aspects of when people come forward is they're very transparent, help us understand what they've done, the ownership for the issues and the consequences. And it's felt a little unclear and at times lacking that full transparency and accountability.
Because one of the situations was it was like a family situation, and it's, I don't want to confuse you guys, but I'll put this again, the mistake, the point of it, I went about the whole thing the wrong way. I was, again, not in my sober state of mind at the time. I was still taking medication. So again, I made decisions with a foggy mindset. I know who I am, clean and sober. I know what I'm capable of doing, the productiveness that I put out. But on top of that, especially with this car business, I'm so straight and narrow. Like he was saying, and every dealership that I'd worked for has nothing but great things to say about me. I've never had a customer, even one customer, state that I deceived them in any way ever. And the 700 cars that I've sold in my, from the time that when I was selling cars. Like I said, and I apologize for a not so clear explanation on that one scenario. But the most important thing, I guess, to say is I know the mistake I made will not be repeated.
Commissioner Vaughn, I make a motion that we approve the license.
Second that.
Any further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, will you call the roll for this applicant?
The motion is to grant licensure made by Commissioner Vaughn and seconded by Chairman Roberts.
No.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Karas, I apologize. Commissioner Levy?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner West?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Rydell?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Jung?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Copenhaver?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Andrews?
Nay.
Votes nay. Commissioner Karas?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton? Votes nay. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Owens? Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer? Votes aye. Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Votes aye. Chairman Roberts?
No.
Votes no. The motion passes. Mr. Hamud, we will issue your licensure today. You'll get it emailed electronically and then print up a hard copy and you'll get that in about 14 days.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
You guys have a great day. Thank you so much.
Mr. Hernandez?
So the relevant convictions are conspiracy to distribute a controlled substance and conspiracy to engage in money laundering. The latest date of release for both is April 26th of 2030. So the commission has discretion to deny until April 26th of 2035.
How you guys doing?
Okay, would you like to address this and tell us your story?
My story, I'm originally from Miami, Florida. I just moved up to Tennessee about 7 months ago. I've been in the auto industry down in South Florida selling cars since my release from prison in 2023. I'm from like I said, like I'm not gonna make excuses for my actions, but I'm from like a hard community. We grew up the wrong way. I got into the wrong crowd. We're convicted of a federal money laundering and conspiracy to distribute charges. Yeah, I'm a little nervous, sorry. But it was a mistake, honestly. I learned a lot. I saw what was more important in life. I lost it all. I lost my family. My father was convicted as well with me on this case. I'm dealing with a lot of long-term consequences of my decisions. Obviously, coming up here and in South Florida, I was able to have my sales license. I came up here for an interview because I wanted to change. I have a 2-year-old son now, and just life got to change. And I've been doing very well. I just actually terminated probation 2 weeks ago. I'm free and clear now. Started working at Music City Honda in November. I came up actually applying for a sales position, but my manager, JC, notified me. I was very transparent about my felonies, and he told me, this is Tennessee, you might have a problem with it, so let's just apply, see what's going on. But it was a blessing. They kept me on as an inventory manager, so I've been working at the dealership as an inventory manager, so getting experience because they didn't want to be in compliance issues, and obviously they respect the business and the laws that you guys have. So I've really been doing that. I have experience in car sales since I was 18, but unfortunately, like I said, whatever's going to catch up is going to catch up to you. I was incarcerated in 2020. I served 3 years, and I had 5-year probation, and I was able to terminate in half. I terminated last week, well, 2 weeks ago.
Okay, who'd you bring with you?
My GSM.
Okay, would you like to come up and address us?
Good morning. How you all doing today?
Good.
My name is Jonathan Cameron. I'm the general sales manager for Music City Honda. I met this young man back in November. He had applied for a sales position with our store. Biggest question was, what brings you to Tennessee, right? Coming from Florida to Tennessee, me being from California, I had moved out here a few years ago. I wanted to hear his story. Told me everything that occurred, all the good, the bad, the ugly, all of the losses based off his decisions and the position that he was in his life. We spoke with his probation officer at the time and got their perspective on his persona as well, right? As taking that kind of a risk on a person is a big risk to take. After speaking with them, they told us a lot about his life, what he's done, their recommendation of him leaving the bad behind, a change of scenery to improve his life and give himself an opportunity to live life. Because ultimately, with the crowd that he was in and in the area that he was in, he more than likely didn't have a very long life to live at that point, right? Given all the people he was associated with. In the car business, it's an industry where people that have dropped out of high school, doctors that have retired, military, law enforcement, everybody, we all become one, right? Everybody gets an opportunity, sometimes a second opportunity. Some of us are lucky enough for a third, right? But it's one of those things where after listening to his story and seeing where he was, seeing at his low point, still being willing to improve his life and try to be a new person and a better role model for his 2-year-old son, I had to take the risk. I told him, we'll try, we'll do everything we can. The day that the license was fully declined, we wrote in a letter, tried to appeal. They said we had to be present before you all. Instead of kicking him out on the street, we basically said, hey, it's going to be tough, but we're going to have you fill whatever role we need you to fill, and you got to fight. Because if we're going to fight with you, you got to fight for you. And if you're not fighting, I can't take that risk. Since that day, he's been a very, very great employee. Anything we need, he's there. He lives but a couple blocks down the street. He's always on time. The sales staff absolutely love him. We as a managing staff absolutely love him. We feel for him. And again, we try to guide him. We try to teach him, do it right. If you're going to do something, do it right the first time. Because if you do it wrong, it always catches up with you. And it's not worth the few little extra that you get here and there for taking corners. Because every time you cut a corner, it'll come back double against you, right? As an inventory manager, he's there from 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, prepping our inventory, make sure that the lines are clean, the vehicles are prepped. If anyone needs a car, is in the middle of a busy deal, he'll go gas it up, no questions asked, right? So that's one of the things that's really pushed us to stay with him and keep pushing to try to help him get that second opportunity, because without asking, he's there, right? And knowing that he's got nothing else to go back to, I just got to try. Thank you.
So let me ask you this, in Florida, there's no license to sell, is that correct?
No, we're all under the dealership. Like the dealership has the license.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
a salesman's license. There's not a salesman's license in Florida, is that correct?
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
correct. That's occurred before.
Okay.
Florida does not require their salesmen to be licensed.
Commissioner Nelson Andrews, looking at this, so the problem was money laundering. The restitution listed here is $1,426,657. So was the money laundering involving automotive, and did you pay?
No, that
Sure.
is on my indictment. There was 64 people. It was a joint severable thing, so it's everybody combined. I'm up to date with my payments. I paid over last year $65,000 towards my restitution over the time I was in probation. I have proof of that as well, and I terminated based off my financial responsibility completed. But obviously, it is broken up between 60 something people.
And was the money laundering automotive money laundering?
No, it was drug proceeds.
But were cars involved in that process?
No, sir. It was cash seized from different places.
How much more do you like on your restitution?
I can't repeat that one more time.
How much?
I didn't hear you.
I said, how much is your restitution, the rest of it?
The
You
rest
paid
of it?
60 something thousand?
60 bills, my 225 it was.
225,000?
Yeah, we settled. Yeah, we settled.
Okay.
Yes. They seized jewelry from me and a real estate property, and it went towards that.
And so again, how much do you like paying it off?
How much do I have left? No, nothing. I'm done.
Nothing?
I terminated.
Yeah,
probation.
okay, it's total.
Yes. Done.
Commissioner Vaughn, so have you had any other issues since this has occurred?
No, ma'am.
Are you still involved with anybody that was part of this operation?
No, ma'am. Everybody's on their own way. My father's incarcerated for 30 years, so I don't really communicate with him. I'm up here in Tennessee now. I have friends and I do have my college degree now too as well. I finished college, and no, I'm not involved with nobody. I'm up here on my own with my family, my fiance, my 2-year-old son. Everything's been on the uppity up. Honestly, it's been a blessing up here. Tennessee has really changed. It was the break I needed. I can be me. I can be. They see me for my hard work. My hard work now, not what my past. Does that make any sense?
So what exactly was your crime? What exactly were you arrested for, and what were you doing?
Drug trafficking. We sold to in the federal system, when a conspiracy charge is having knowledge of a crime being committed. I wasn't there at the moment when the thing, but I had knowledge of the deal going on, and they, like I said, they came down and charged us all for the crimes. Anybody that had
But
knowledge?
you were a part of it, correct?
Yes. Yeah, I was part of it, but at the actual, it's a conspiracy charge. If you have this distribution, you were actually caught with the stuff.
Mhm.
It was just conspiracy, having knowledge and not saying anything about it. So yes, I pleaded guilty. Accept the responsibility upon the process, yes.
Any more questions?
I just want to make sure I understand, what kind of support system do you have and follow-up? And it shows that you completed a drug treatment program. Have you been sober since? Do you have a support system to help you maintain?
Yes, while I was incarcerated, I was under the age of 25 years old. So in the federal system, there's a program called the SMOOTH program. It's a military program. The federal prison I was at was on a military base. So you're in like the barracks. It's like a barracks. You get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. You take classes, it's cognitive behavior therapy. So basically discipline, respect, how to speak, and we all work jobs. So it was, that was the rehabilitation I completed in there. And there was also a program upon to help terminate your probation faster. There was it's called RDAP. Same thing, it's cognitive therapy, and it's a drug program. Did I have a problem? No, man, I didn't, but I did it for the behavior cognitive, and I completed the inpatient in prison and outpatient outside. And that was what helped me terminate my probation as well. And also I had to be fully in compliance with probation to have my probation switched from the Southern District of Florida to Tennessee. So that was a privilege, not they didn't have to do that for me. My actual probation officer would have been here if she was able to, but she had a family affair. So I have full support of I have a lot of guidance. I have no excuse to fail now. I can't. I have a 2-year-old son, I have a lot of people counting on me. A lot of people invested in me too. And I'm not gonna fail again. I can't. I'm grateful for all the opportunities they've given me, and I just want to take the next step. Like I said, I have been in car sales. I've done very well. Unfortunately, when I came up to Tennessee, it's different laws and regulations, but I respected and I understood. That's why I stayed working. I didn't give up. And so now we're here today.
Any other comments, questions?
I make a motion, this is Commissioner Levy, I make a motion that we approve the license.
Second. Commissioner Norton.
Any further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, will you call the roll on this applicant?
Motion is to approve licensure made by Commissioner Levy and seconded by Commissioner Norton. Commissioner Levy?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner West?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Rydell? Votes aye. Commissioner Jung?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Copenhaver?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Karras? Votes aye. Commissioner Norton? Votes aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Owens?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer? Votes aye. Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Votes aye. And Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
Votes aye.
Thank you guys. Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Mr. Hernandez, your license is approved and it will be emailed to you later today and we'll mail you a hard copy. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you all.
Mr. Ailes? Ailes, okay.
Good morning.
Yes.
The relevant conviction is attempted aggravated robbery. The latest date of release is November 2nd of 2022. So the commission has discretion to deny until November 2nd of 2027.
Okay. Tell us your story, please, sir.
Absolutely. First of all, good morning. My name is Ronnie Ailes. I grew up a troubled youth. I come from very humble beginnings, and there was crime essentially all around me at all times. And yeah, my young, impressionable brain, I looked up to the gentleman in my neighborhood who did the bad things and kind of learned the tricks of the trade fairly early. I got in trouble in my early adulthood, making more poor decisions, and ended up with this robbery case. It was more of a drug deal gone bad, which is happens all too often in the drug trade. I went to prison. Upon release of prison, I went to a place called Men of Valor. It's essentially a Christian-based halfway house. It's very intensive. It's very active in the church. It's discipleship groups and things of that nature, weekly. And you know, since my hiccup with the law, especially after Men of Valor, my walk with Christ has been super imperative to my whole lifestyle. It keeps me on track and kind of dictates how I live my life today and how I raise my kids. Yeah.
Okay. Who did you bring with you?
Absolutely. I have Josh Luke right here.
Oh, same guy.
Hey, yeah, different dealership. So
Okay.
different store. So yeah, we brought Ronnie in and knew he had some troubles. He was up front with us, told us, hey, I've got a past, got a history. You know, hey, you're likely going to be denied. Let's take a look at it. And so kind of what we will do sometimes if we decide to go down this path is put somebody like that through the ringer and really press them and see, do they want the job? You know, do they really want to try to make a path in this industry? And so that's what we've done. And, you know, he stepped up to the plate. Everything that I've seen from a character standpoint, from a discipline standpoint, from a teamship attitude, style, dealing with people, it's been nothing but all positive things and things that we would want to see.
Okay. All right. Questions from the commission?
Question, Commissioner Rydell.
I believe on your application to us, under the have you ever been convicted of a crime, et cetera, you said no. Can you please explain that?
It has to be that has to be a typo. I sent over my judgment sheets. When I sent that, I must have read the question wrong or something of that nature.
You're absolutely right. Thank you for pointing that out. And I would say, I agree. I mean, he answered no to the question, but he attached documents. So at the same time, so it doesn't appear to be intentionally misleading. And
Yes.
we absolutely messed up, should have contacted him and said, please resubmit this, or at least acknowledge that.
Okay, so to be clear, you answered the question no, or at least on the form we have, it says no. But then you, at the same time, you provided full information about the
Absolutely.
crimes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a mistake on my behalf, and I apologize. I
Yeah.
may have had a lot on my desk that day.
I feel satisfied it doesn't show any intent to hide anything.
Okay. Commissioner Norton, are you in a recovery program ongoing now?
Just church every Sunday. I'm deep in my Bible every day, and the church is my recovery.
Commissioner Vaughn, have you had any other issues or convictions, trouble, anything?
No, ma'am.
Did you need to make restitution?
Absolutely.
And did you
Yeah,
complete
paid
that?
Yeah, absolutely. And the prison sentence is behind me, and it's I live a whole new life, and I raised my son far, far different. The environment and the instructions far, far different than the way that I was raised. So
You have plenty of support.
absolutely, absolutely, yes. And my home church is amazing. My faith really just keeps me on track more than anything. So yes, I have a great support system with family. My kids are active in sports, so you have a sense of community there. And my home church, it's an amazing place. It's a huge community center, and it's just a great thing to be a part of.
Commissioner Jung, I just have a question for your sponsor. Will you be overseeing him, or who? Because you have multiple stores.
Yeah,
How long has he been working with you, and who will be managing him?
Yeah, he's been with us for about 45 days. So we've got an executive team, if you will. It's not that formal, but myself, my business partner, who's co-dealer principal, and then our operations manager. Between the three of us, we're always in the stores. So, met with him several times already. It's an ongoing system that we have that, we meet with all of our employees regularly. But there is some special attention that goes into this, right? Want to make sure that, if approved, obviously we want to do this not for no reason, but to do it well. So we would have direct supervision ongoing.
Commissioner Evans for the staff. So when someone's appealing, do you guys request these documents, or do you say, hey, you can provide them? How does that work? And then are you having to, convince people to provide documents? How does that work?
Which documents?
For his conviction, as evidence of the conviction.
So
for
the way the
example.
process goes is every candidate for licensure is vetted through a felony offender lookup. And if they are caught on the felony offender lookup, then we reach out to them and say, hey, you need to submit your final judgments so we can do an FSA memo for those. And they'll generally provide those to us.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Make a motion that we approve the license. Commissioner Vaughn.
Commissioner Norton, second.
Andrews, I'll second.
2 seconds.
You can pick either one.
The motion is to approve licensure made by Commissioner Vaughn and seconded jointly by Commissioners Norton and Andrews. Commissioner Levy? That's aye. Commissioner West? That's aye. Commissioner Rydell?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Jung? That's aye. Commissioner Copenhaver?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Karas?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Norton? That's aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Owens? That's aye. Commissioner Kramer? That's aye. Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
That's aye. And Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
That's aye. Your license will be issued today electronically and we'll mail you a hard copy. Congratulations.
Thank you for your time.
All right, next is Executive Director Lawrence. Will you give your report?
I will be happy to give a report. A couple of things I wanted to point out to you guys. Basically, licensure steady as she goes. We continue to exceed expectations. I am very, very proud of my staff. They always step up to the plate, even though we often operate not at 100%. But anyway, I know this is something that you guys will be interested in. In my report, our most recent net position statement was for the month of February, and we were in the black at about $71,000. I've been trying to monitor this as closely as possible because, we had our fee increase. I literally got an email from while we were in here, and our new statement is out for the month of March, and we are at 106,000 in the black. So things are looking up, and I'm really, really proud of that. I also wanted to point out that our retrospective rules that we approved last year will become effective on June 1st. I provided a little bullet point document in your materials to remind you. I think the most important, we left out a couple of fee increases. So we addressed those in our retrospective rules. And we also addressed our motor vehicle show permit. We have decided to do away with that permit. So that's a fee that we're getting rid of, and then reworded the language a little bit under our rules so that it was more in line with what the model has become today. The FTC has recently opined that they're going to be enforcing an all-inclusive advertising. I think it started back in March. We are waiting for further guidance from them. This could potentially be in conflict with our current advertising rule. Again, we're waiting for further guidance, and I have reached out to our inspectors and investigators and asked them not to issue fines on that basis alone. One last thing I wanted to make the commission aware of. We've gotten a dealer application where a manufacturer has applied for licensure as a wholly owned subsidiary. And I wanted to make you aware of it because it's a little bit different than what we've seen before. We're still getting all of the information. We don't have a complete application, but I wanted to make you all aware so that we could continue to get guidance from you all.
Okay. Executive Director Lawrence, I want to say that I think that the staff should continue working with the applicant to get information necessary to determine eligibility for the dealer's license. So just please work with the applicant so the commission can discuss the license at a future date, possible date, okay?
We will do that.
And is that the first time we've been in a black in 3 years?
It is. I mean, we've been building up to it we closed out the year at 13,000, I think, in the black, and I was doing cartwheels. But yes, so it's increasing steadily, and I'm really relieved and happy about that.
And I want to make sure that the newer commission members realized that the reason we were behind because we hadn't adjusted our fees for so long, and they finally took hold. And that's why we're in the black now, and we're in good shape. Looks like we're going in a better shape every day.
So a little bit of a reminder, maybe not to let it go.
We had enough reserve.
So
Excuse
maybe,
me?
maybe, maybe a little bit of a reminder not to let it go so long without reviewing the fees.
Yeah. Yeah. Well taken. Okay, do we need to approve your?
We need to approve the director's report.
So moved.
Any further discussion? If you would call the roll for the
The
vote.
motion is to approve the director's report. The motion made by Commissioner Vaughn and seconded by Commissioner Norton. Commissioner Levy?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner West?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Rydell?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Jung?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Copenhaver?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Karas?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Norton? That's aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Owens? That's aye. Commissioner Kramer? That's aye. Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
That's aye. And Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
That's aye. You've approved the director's report.
Okay, legal is next.
Yes, there are only two changes to the legal report that were made during the committee meeting, and I'll just go over those for you guys. Number 4, the committee voted to assess a $1,000 civil penalty or give the respondent the option to provide a refund to all customers who were charged the PIPA fee within 30 days. And number 33, the committee voted to also refer the matter to law enforcement.
Okay, is that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Do we have a motion to adopt the legal report?
Commissioner Norton, I make a motion to adopt the legal report.
Second. Commissioner Karas.
Any further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, will you call the roll for the legal report
The
adoption?
motion is to adopt the legal report as amended by the legal committee. Commissioner Levy, I'm sorry, made by Commissioner Norton and seconded by Commissioner Karas. Commissioner Levy?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner West?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Rydell?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Jung?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Copenhaver?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Karas?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
That's aye. Commissioner Owens? That's aye. Commissioner Kramer? That's aye. Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
That's aye. And Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
That's aye. You've adopted the legal report.
Okay. Legislative updates. You want to go over that?
Okay, I'll go through this quickly. So Senate Bill 1557 extends the Tennessee Motor Vehicle Commission, which is scheduled to sunset June 30th of 2026 to June 30th of 2030. Senate Bill 2224 makes minor changes to the appointment of industry commission members to align with last year's change in the membership from the 9 congressional districts to 3 from each grand division. It also removes the requirement that the executive director take and subscribe to the oath and execute a surety bond prior to taking office. It passed the House as amended April 7th, passed the Senate on April 15th, and it's awaiting floor consideration. Next, Senate Bill 1069 authorizes a specialty auction one time per year without the benefit of a dealer license. House Bill 1708 requires county clerks to verify citizenship before issuing registration documents, and Revenue will develop acceptable documents for that requirement. It passed both Senate and House on April 23rd. Senate Bill 0608 clarifies the circumstances in which a manufacturer distributor license may be revoked or denied. It passed Senate March 2nd of 2026, and it's scheduled for House consideration was about 2 weeks ago. It was sent to the governor on April 23rd. And just to summarize that bill, it establishes additional grounds upon which the Motor Vehicle Commission is authorized to deny, suspend, or revoke the license of a manufacturer, distributor, distributor branch, factory branch, or officer, agent, or other representative thereof. It also allows the Motor Vehicle Commission to deny, revoke, or suspend the license of a licensee who required, coerced, or attempted to coerce a motor vehicle dealer to change location or to make a substantial alteration or investment to the dealer premises or facilities when doing so would be unreasonable in light of financial expectations. It also allows the suspension of a license who required, coerced, or attempted to coerce the use of a specific vendor of goods or services for construction or substantial alterations if the dealer with the approval of the licensee selects an alternative vendor of goods and services that are the same design, quality, and kind. And it allows the commission to deny, revoke, or suspend the license of a licensee who coerces one to adhere to performance standards that are not applied uniformly to other similarly situated dealers. Additionally, a licensee may not establish or implement a plan or system for the allocation and distribution of new vehicles to dealers that is arbitrary, capricious, or unreasonably discriminatory. And lastly, the bill also creates an exemption from such grounds if a dealer refuses or fails to deliver a motor vehicle due to circumstances over which the licensee had no control and places the burden of proof on the licensee. And that concludes the legislative update.
We don't need to take action on that, do we? Okay, that's what I thought. All right, new business. Eric, I believe you have a report or some information.
I do have some information. We recently, actually it was on Friday, did a summary suspension on a salesperson's license. And that's really rare that we do that. I don't think we've done it since 2019. So what that means is the salesperson, their license was suspended on Friday. They have 7 business days to request an informal conference to kind of give their side of the story. If they don't do that, then the suspension stays in effect until a revocation happens. That's kind of the next step. And a complaint's already been opened in relation to this matter. It'll be on your July legal report. They've not requested anything yet. I think they have until Tuesday to request one. So if they do request one, I'm asking if the commission would like to designate the chair to handle that informal conference instead of having the need for a full quorum. So all you would have to do is vote, and then we could have that informal conference just in front of the chair. And that's only if they request it by Tuesday. Otherwise, again, you'll see it on your report. We'll be recommending revocation. And if you agree, then we'll submit a consent order for revocation to this person, or they can request a formal hearing like any other complaint. So
This is the first I'm hearing of this. Am I understanding you're wanting me to do that?
I do not want you to. That was an idea that was suggested to me by someone. I can't really remember who suggested
Okay.
it.
Let me remind you, if I can, we had a situation, and I believe Commissioner Copenhaver had literally just joined us. It was in the middle of a lot of different contested case hearings, and a lot of stuff was going on. Taylor's going to remember this because it was her case. We had a rule change that we had a really hard time getting a quorum for the protest. What was it called?
Yes, we had a petition for reconsideration in a previous protest where we had to do we didn't have a regulation at that time that allowed the chair to sit in over that petition for reconsideration. So we had to do that emergency hearing. But this is a different regulation. I'll let Erica talk about it if you want. It's under the UAPA, but it's the same idea. Yes.
Yeah. So to be more clear, if this person requests an informal conference, the sole purpose of that informal conference would be for them to provide their side of the story, because right now we have 0 response. And then it will be to determine whether this person poses an immediate threat of harm to the consumer, to keep that suspension in place until the commission can hear all of the details on the July legal report and decide if they want to go through with revocation.
I will do it if the commission wants me to.
I make a motion that we allow the chair to.
Second.
And again, just to reiterate, this is the informal conference will not be any kind of final decision. It's just to determine if the summary suspension was necessary, that this person is an immediate threat to the consumers and the public. And then we'll go from there.
Okay.
It is not any kind of final decision on their license.
So basically I get to go do work while they get to go do what they want to do.
That's correct.
Right.
Okay.
That is
All right.
exactly.
I got the.
You've understand it.
Do we need this fully done? Okay. We have a second? Okay.
Oh.
All right. Sorry about that. I can't see what's right beside me. But any
So-
further discussion? Go ahead. Keep going.
So the motion would be that the commission delegates the chair to handle an informal conference in the instance that the licensee requests an informal conference in 7 business days from Friday.
That's it.
And that is to determine whether this person is an immediate threat to the public.
Executive Director Lawrence. I'm
You've
gonna
heard
ask-
the motion restated by legal counsel, made by Commissioner Vaughn, seconded by Commissioner Andrews. Commissioner Levy?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner West?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Rydell? Votes aye. Commissioner Joan?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Copenhaver?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Karas?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Owens? Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer? Votes aye. Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Votes aye. And Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
Votes aye.
I guess.
Motion carries.
I should have abstained, but
Oh,
I should have said no, actually. You're right. But definitely put abstain.
okay, okay.
Okay,
Abstain.
old business. There's none that I know of. Public comments in the back? Okay. Did you sign in out in the back? Okay, good. Come on up. State your name if you don't
My
mind.
name's Denise Anderson.
Okay.
I applied in January for my dealer's license and was denied because I'm trying to do it at a previous business that only operates 2 Saturday nights a year. And Barry Whitsom told me to be here today, but, and I sent my paperwork in over a month ago. But obviously I wasn't on the list.
Agenda or the
Yes,
list? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We apologize. This is the first time hearing of it. Mr. Whitson did not let us know that that's what he told you. Perfectly fine. Explain to me again why your license was denied.
I have a go-kart track.
Right.
It's got a beautiful offices, building. Well, I thought you could have 2 businesses at one location. And you can't, apparently the fine print, you have to have a separate entrance, which I have that on one office. And it could shut off from the rest of the business. If I use my public bathrooms, I have 2 nice public bathrooms. Well, since that office has a small private bathroom, he wanted me to just use that, which was not enough square footage. If I use that office and say that is my private bathroom and just one public bathroom, I've got enough square footage. So he denied me and told me to be here today. But I've got my bond, I've got everything. I've been
So
paying insurance since
it's-
January.
It's 2 separate businesses at the same location, complies with the separate entrances.
Yes, ma'am.
60/30?
6633.
60, we have a rule called the
Contiguous
6633 rule, which is that 66% of the gross receipts must come from the dealership.
And it would because the track only operates on Saturday night, 2 nights a month, not only like 6 months of the year. So
Okay.
the dealership would be the primary.
Can I make a suggestion? And I sincerely apologize because we don't have this in front of us. If you will, I would suggest that you allow staff to make this determination and we can look at it together. And if you'll hang out, we'll do just that.
Yes, ma'am.
And if we have any questions, then, we'll come back to the commission.
We're sorry for the
I
confusion,
apologize.
Oh, that's fine.
but they'll straighten it up after the meeting, okay? Okay. Adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn?
Okay.
All
All those
right.
in favor say aye.
Aye.
See you July 28th.
Thanks, Chairman.